SA Crypto, South Africa's largest blockchain community and news outlet.
Blockchain Africa 2019, the Cape Town edition, and it's the SA Crypto video podcast. Farzam Ehsani, CEO and co-founder of VALR, welcome.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Just tell us a little bit about before you joined VALR. You were at RMB, Rand Merchant Bank, correct?
Right.
And was that in a blockchain role, or was it a wider scope than just blockchain?
Well, it was in a blockchain role, so I was the blockchain lead and cryptocurrency lead of RMB in the First Rank Group. And so I did that from beginning of 2016 for about 2.5 years or so. And then left to co-found VALR, which started in the middle of last year.
Just tell us a little bit about the primary value prop of VALR. Is it a fiat exchange for crypto? Is it purely crypto? Because there's a lot of different ways exchanges are positioning themselves.
Absolutely.
There's the wallet, there's the crypto, there's the buy crypto with your fiat. Which category do you guys fall into?
So ultimately, we're going to do all of that. So right now, we're a crypto-to-crypto exchange with over 50 cryptocurrencies, the largest selection of cryptocurrencies in South Africa and the whole of Africa and beyond. So we just launched March 1st. So I'm glad to share with your viewers as well that we've got free trading for the month of March.
Wow.
Between Bitcoin, Ether, and more than 50 other cryptocurrencies, and we're actually launching more. In about a month or two, we'll be launching fiat to crypto, so Rand to crypto, and particularly the BTC ZAR and the ETH ZAR order books. So we'll be launching that. So we will have an on-ramp from Rand into crypto, and then ultimately you'll be able to use your Rands to buy any of our cryptocurrencies with Rands directly and instantly.
Wow.
So we obviously have a wallet because you have to pre-fund your account just like any other exchange out there. So you have to pre-fund your wallet right now in Bitcoin and Ether, as I said, in a month or two in Rand as well. And then you've got the widest selection. We've got a couple of very interesting features about the platform. Our fees are generally lower than what you find in South Africa. They are lower than what you find in South Africa. And we have a very innovative maker fee structure on the platform. We're the first spot exchange in the world to offer negative maker fees to our customers. So what that means is if you bring liquidity to our platform, we actually pay you. So it's a pretty cool thing. It's
very unique. You're incentivizing market makers.
If we do well and we want our users to do well, now some people say, oh, how long is that going to last for? Because you can't keep paying people forever. The fact of the matter is that you have a maker and a taker on every single trade. So we charge the taker, we take 0.1% of the fee from the taker, give it to the maker. So it's a very, very sustainable model going forward.
Your background before getting into blockchain, you said you took up that role at RMB 2016. Before that, was it an economic sort of background, or was it a tech background?
So very quickly studied economics in Berkeley, California. Started Deloitte Consulting in San Francisco. Decided to come back to Africa. Worked at McKinsey for about 5 years in South Africa. That's what brought me here. And then post McKinsey, I started working at RMB. And that was in 2012 that I started, and started on a very cool program that allowed me to kind of explore everything within the bank for about 4 years. And then I took up the role of the blockchain lead.
How did you get into the blockchain industry?
I had a very good friend of mine who was he had a startup in San Francisco. And I asked him what he was up to. He said, I'm into this new Bitcoin thing. And I had heard about Bitcoin. I thought it was a complete scam. And he was a guy that I looked up to. So I said, Adam, you're above this stuff. This stuff is beneath you. Do something that's kind of worth it and that serves society. So he said, Farzam, I don't think you quite understand what Bitcoin and blockchain is all about. So credit to him. He explained it a little bit to me. It piqued my interest. My wife encouraged me to keep looking at it. And then the penny dropped like it does most of us that look into it. And I haven't looked back ever since.
What is it about Bitcoin that initially excited you the most?
The main thing that inspires me is promoting the unity of the human race. And Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies do not pay any heed to our man-made boundaries that we've created for ourselves in the world. These are divisions that retard the progress of humanity. Our financial system is also along the lines of the nation state, which is just a whole bunch of divisions across humanity, which is just man-made. So the thing I love about cryptocurrency and I love about Bitcoin is that it does not matter who you are, where you're from, where you're located, what your skin color is, how much money you have, etc. If you want a Bitcoin address, you can have one. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. And if you want to send money, whether it's from me to you here right now, or from me to China, or the US, or Venezuela, or wherever it may be, it can happen seamlessly. And the fact that it takes value in our current financial system to cross borders, sometimes 5 days, is ridiculous. So I always like to say that there isn't this concept of a cross-border email. There shouldn't be a concept of cross-border payments. And what blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies in particular are allowing us to do is to make this idea of cross-border payments as silly as cross-border email.
Wow. Now, VALR it's been in the news of late. You guys have done extremely well in terms of raising funding, going about things the right way. And one of the big stories, of course, is the fact that Michael Jordaan is one of the investors.
Right.
And his name comes with a lot of weight, former CEO of FNB. Just tell us about that relationship. Was that a single pitch? Was it your network saying, hey, Michael, you're interested in this? Tell us about the approach to gaining funding from someone of that stature in the South African investment network.
Sure. So I was working in the same group when he was at FNB at the time. I was at RMB. I don't think he knew who I was at the time. I knew obviously who he was. After he left, I wrote a paper called The Advent of Crypto Banking, and it got published and I think read by people in a few quarters. And he picked it up somehow, read it, and contacted me on on Twitter. And we just started a conversation. We eventually met, had some very nice conversations. I told him about what I wanted to do. He was kind enough to support us and to be our first seed investor. And the rest is history.
Wow. So it really was, it was an organic, relational-based network that opened up the door.
Correct. He's been very instrumental in the startup community in South Africa, as you know. So he also played a very large role in me leaving to start a startup. Not leaving RMB particularly, but just the idea of startups being able to change the world. And so I gave that a lot of thought, and through his encouragement, we took the steps that we did.
Wow. Yeah. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs in the industry in South Africa? Not even just the blockchain industry, but fintech as well. They have an idea or they've got a business. Yeah. Maybe they got retrenched and they just feel like, you know what, I'm going to give this entrepreneurship thing a go. What advice would you give them, specifically thinking in the fintech space?
So I think, first of all, I've got a lot of people that I know in the corporate world or in jobs that they're comfortable in. They've got a lot of ideas. And I always say, if you're not growing or contributing where you are, it's time to move. Right? Life is too short to stick where you are in a place of comfort when you're not really contributing and serving humanity. So the first thing I would say is have the belief in yourself that you can try at least to make a difference. You'll never know if you're going to be able to make a difference unless you actually try. Whether you succeed or fail is a separate question. At VALR, we're just in the very initial stages. The verdict is still, the jury is still out as to what our future will be. We're doing everything we can, and we're very excited about the future. But to be honest with you, whether we succeed or fail is a little bit besides the point from the perspective of an ecosystem, because you need an ecosystem to try things. Ultimately, many of these startups will succeed and transform the world. So if you're not trying to transform, then you need to ask yourself the question, what are you trying to do with your life? There is definitely space for being in the corporate world, etc. But if you're not growing or contributing, it's time to reevaluate where you are and make a move.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes is what I'm picking up.
Absolutely. Any startup, the odds are against you in succeeding, right? But you need to work against those odds, try your absolute best, and every single company that has done well and has succeeded started off with those same odds. They were a startup at some point, odds were against them. But when you have enough people that are trying, beautiful things will happen. But if you don't try, definitely nothing can happen. So all I would say is just put your front foot forward, take a step, make a move, and see what doors open up. Because if you don't do that, you'll never know what lies ahead.
Wow. Farzam, any final words you'd like to say to the audience watching, listening to this right now, particularly even with your exciting ambitions for VALR?
Yeah, I think I'd invite everybody to sign up to valr.com, VALR.com. We've got a very seamless sign-up process. We use AI and machine learning technology. so that for more than 90% of our users, where there isn't any issue with the pictures that they take of their ID, it gets approved without any human intervention. We have free trading until the end of March as expressed, so 100% rebate on all your fees. And later this month we'll be listing XRP and XLM, Ripple and Stellar networks. So we're very excited, and we'll be continuing to list. So thanks for having me on the show.
Just final question. Yeah. The name VALR.
Yeah.
Where does that
Great
come
question.
from?
So VALR obviously coming from VALOUR or VALOR, depending if it's British or American.
British or American, yeah.
We thought that name is a strong one. It means bravery, courage, which is exactly what we needed. But it also it comes from the word value, and we're dealing in value. And it also comes from the word values, i.e. ethics, which we're trying to bring some ethics into the industry and do everything as it should be done, really trying to build the trust of the community. And then lastly, we took the O and the U out because we thought if we're building a platform for the world, let's get rid of the American and British differences. VALR, we're one, we're for the world.
Lovely, beautifully and succinctly thought through as well. So
thank you very much.
Great story, even in the name. Farzam, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best with
Really
VALR.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
SA Crypto, South Africa's largest blockchain community and news outlet.